third consecutive day I've hit a 25 or 38x. May 10th, cashed 38x here. Yesterday, Friday, cashed a 38x right. Saturday, cashed a 38x right here. Cashed the 25x from last night's video, guys. This was the free slip I gave in last night's video. This shit cashed the free 25x I gave out in last night's video. We are now 21 and 4 in the past two videos. That's 21 green props and 4 losses, and you can see we actually got 2 losses in this second slip I gave out. Went 2 and 2 on that 4 power, but doesn't really matter when you're cashing out 25x on this particular slip. I said in last night's video, it only has about a 3% chance of hitting, so don't go big on it. And just because I'm hot, same thing applies for tonight's video. Don't go putting crazy money on these slips that I'm about to go over, because I will have 14 props for you guys in today's video. I'm going to be building another 6-man like this and another 2 4 powers. It's been absolutely crazy in the past 3 days. As you guys just saw, I cashed this 25x. This is also always sent to the Discord. Every single slip I do is sent there too, as it is on YouTube. Cashed a 38x 2 nights ago, and also cashed this 38x the night before. So 3 days straight of hitting at least a 38x. The Discord profit is going absolutely crazy. In the past 3 days, we are up 97.4 units on Prizepicks. Multiply that by whatever you're putting on every slip. That is how much profit you have. So on $10, that's $970 of profit in the past 3 days. It has been absolutely crazy. Now, I'm not going to yap about the Discord for 5 minutes, but if you're new here and want to follow a actual profitable Discord that has every single bet tracked in the spreadsheet, it's linked in the description. It's always public. We're up 660 units since the beginning of it, since November 20th, 2023. First link in the description is going to take you to the WAP where you can buy the OddsJuice VIP. Read all the reviews, check the spreadsheet in the description. Everything is publicly tracked. I'm nothing to hide. I actually went on like a lot of the Discords out there. So if you did cash that slip last night, I recommend taking those profits, rolling it into the Discord, and you're going to see you're going to be making a ton more profits. If you guys want to try for free, sign up for any of my affiliate codes here. Sleeper Fantasy with code OddsJuice, Underdog Fantasy with code OddsJuice, and then Dabble with code OddsJuice. And then make that minimum deposit of $5 or $10, and then DM me on Instagram at OddsJuice, and you could send me the proof that you use the code, and I'll get you in the Discord for free as a trial. So I have to say about the Discord, you know where to buy it and you know how to get it for free. So let's kick it off with the NBA. And if you guys are new here, you're going to see the slips I make are quite different from what you'll normally see. As you saw in the intro, the slip that won was a triple stack, as I'm going to explain throughout this video. But I'm not here to tell you, for example, that Rudy Gobert is going to go over his 11.5 points because he just had a kid, or maybe he's going to go under his 11.5 points for some reasons that don't really matter. No BS here. I'm going to show you real numbers, real data throughout the videos, and why these matter so much, as well as show you the strategies that have actually made me 600 plus units. So that main strategy is what I like to call stacking. So if I go over to a pick like Josh Hart, and I love his over 18.5 rebounds assists, I'm thinking right away, how does this pick on the over 18.5 rebounds assists affect either a Knicks player or an Indiana Pacers player? And you might think, okay, well, if Josh Hart's getting a lot of rebounds and he's getting a lot of assists, then maybe someone like Dante DiVincenzo, who does have a lot of points coming from assists, is going to go over his points. Why? Because Josh Hart is getting those rebounds, which means the Knicks are probably holding more possessions, and he's getting assists, which means he might be throwing dimes over to Dante, who's going to be filling up his points prop. So that is how I'm thinking every time I'm taking a prop on my slip. So for this first slip, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So firstly, I was eyeing Denver, and I was like, who do I want to take in a specific game? And I was looking at Jokic to start on his 8.5 assists. So if I'm grabbing Jokic on his over 8.5 assists, right away you should be thinking, who could I pair Jokic over assists with that makes sense with a specific prop? Obviously, I'm going to go to Michael Porter Jr., who is a heavily assisted player. He's shooting a lot of threes, and a lot of his points are going to be assisted and mainly assisted by Jokic. So it makes sense that I grab these two guys on the over. It wouldn't make sense for me to grab Michael Porter Jr. on the under, of course, because if Jokic is going over, MPJ is obviously more likely to go over. You want to stack these guys together. Why stop there? You could go and take a third player on KCP on his over 7.5 points. And this is a very useful site here, NBA.com. They have this all tracked. If I go over and type in Pope, you're going to see that 83.7% of his field goal made are going to be assisted. So if KCP is scoring points, odds are it's going to be assisted, and you're hoping that it's going to be assisted by Jokic. If Jokic is having a very good assisting game, you could see KCP going over his points. Of course, MPJ could go and drop like 30 points and leave no room for Pope, but let's say it's a really balanced game where everyone is just hitting around their targets. You see all 3 of these guys hit together, and I'll show you a slip that actually did happen like that. Now, MPJ is pretty much the exact same concept. 84.5% of his field goal made are assisted. And look at what I did last game. KCP on the over here, MPJ on the over points, and Jokic on the over assists, and they all cashed together, and we cashed a 38x in the Discord. So I'm repeating it again tonight, and it's not because it hit last time that it's going to hit again, but it's just a great triple stack to play, and it just makes sense. Now, normally I like to check the juice. So I go over to a sportsbook and check Nikola Jokic. You could also use like outlier props, cash, whatever it may be, but Jokic is set at minus 115, and a lot of people on Prizepicks are probably in Cali and have never used a sportsbook or anything, so this makes absolutely no sense to you. What does minus 115 mean? that basically means there's a 50% chance he goes over and a 50% chance that he goes under, right? You can only go over 8.5 or under 8.5. And there's actually calculators online to kind of show you what this means. So if I go onto this Novig calculator here, if I do -115, -115, you're going to see exactly what I said. The over is a 50% chance and the under is a 50% chance. Now you want to be looking for props that have a higher minus. The higher the minus, the more likely it is to occur. So Justin Holiday, for example, on his over half assist, -120 towards the over, -110 towards the under. If we go and plug this in, -120 over, -110 under, you're going to see there's a 51% chance that he goes over and a 49% chance that he goes under. Meaning, of course, the over is more likely in this case. If you were to see this prop on Prizepicks, you would want to take the over because you're not getting penalized for taking the over rather than the under. So if I want a higher minus, why am I even going to go Jokic at a 50-50 prop? Well, because I'm combining it with two other props that are still good. So you still get that correlation effect. If Jokic is going over his assists, it's more likely that Michael Porter Jr. leans towards the over. It's also more likely that KCP leans towards the over. So though you see KCP has juice towards the over at -120, technically he only has a 51% chance of going over. But with the effect that Jokic is in the slip, this is going to be higher than 51%. Because if Jokic is clearing his assist line, you get that correlation effect, which boosts this -120, maybe to -140, maybe to -150. And same exact concept for MPJ. He's about a 50-50 prop. So if you're taking him on his own, you have a 50% chance of going over or under. But now since we're combining him in a triple stack with Jokic, it's more likely that they all go over together. So I hope that kind of makes sense. You only need all three of these guys to cash together about 1 in 6 times to be profitable. Obviously this pays 5x, but on underdog you get 6x for example, and the 6 flex payouts are much better than the 3 powers. Just think about it as this: if you're hitting all green on 3 guys 1 out of 6 times, you're going to be profitable. So keep finding stacks that hit at that certain rate. And of course I wouldn't be showing you this stack if it didn't hit at that rate. So that is going to be the first triple stack. Now I'm going to put you on some MLB game too. So we're going to go over to the hits, runs, RBIs prop, and you could do even more correlation in this sport. So we're going to go over to the Atlanta Braves and grab 2 guys on their over hits, runs, RBIs. That is going to be Austin Riley and Matt Olson. If you watch baseball and know how it works, you already see how this is correlated. Of course, if Austin Riley is going over his hits, runs, plus RBIs, it's more likely that Matt Olson is also getting his hits, runs, RBIs, especially because these guys are close to each other in the lineup. If you go over to the Braves, you're going to see Austin Riley is expected to bat 3rd and Matt Olson is expected to bat 4th. So if Riley's getting on base, Olson is likely to maybe run in Riley, or maybe they both get on base. Maybe Riley's on 2nd, Olson's on 1st. Ozuna gets a home run, runs them both in. Well, guess what? Now they both hit their hits, runs, RBIs within a single inning. On top of that, I always look at the juice. So why am I going both over versus both under? Honestly, it matters more about the juice rather than the actual teams. So I don't really care how good the Braves are in this case. It's just I'm taking the overs because the juice is leaning towards the over on both these players. If you go check on DraftKings, you see -120 towards the over on Matt Olson. The minus is higher on the over rather than the under, meaning the over is more likely. And then the same exact concept for Austin Riley. So these guys both have a 51% chance to go over rather than under. So we're taking both these guys in the correct direction, plus they have that correlation effect. Now I was originally going to turn this into 25x slip, but I said why not take it a step further? Since we really think the Braves are going to do well, since we're already grabbing Austin Riley and Matt Olson on their over hits, runs, RBIs, why not turn this into a 38x slip by taking Ozuna on his over 1.5 total bases prop? So this gives us a boost to 38x if we get 6 out of 6 correct. We still get a 4x if 5 out of 6 are correct, so that's a good payout too. And we have this additional correlation effect on Ozuna. Like I said, if the Braves are doing well, they're getting more at-bats, and it's more likely they're just getting hits in general if these two guys are cashing. So Ozuna's batting right before these two guys. So if he goes over his 1.5 total bases, again, there's always this correlation effect between all 3 of these guys. Imagine Ozuna doubles, boom, he already cashes his demon prop. Then we got Austin Riley or Olson running him in. That's going to fill up an RBIs prop. So you can see how this all makes sense when you add it together. Now there is a lot of terrible demons on Prizepicks, but Ozuna is one of those good ones, as I'll show you with the juice in a little bit. But on top of that, we have that correlation effect. So that is why I'm taking a demon in this specific case. And you get a very nice boost from 25x to 38x. Ozuna, you're going to see here again, total bases milestone, so 2+ bases, which is over 1.5, is at +135. Again, that might not mean much to you, but if I go to 135 and type in -165, because that's probably what the other leg would be, you're going to see he has about a 40% chance of going over this prop. And again, that 40% chance is amplified when you're grabbing 2 other players within that slip. So these 3 guys together actually have a much higher chance to hit in the same direction rather than just taking Ozuna on his own in a different slip. So this is the first slip. I got another 2 4-mans coming straight at you. We're going to be doing some UFL, and honestly, these games start at 3 p.m. I'm filming this right now at 2 p.m. I don't know when this video is going to get up, but there might not be too much time. For you guys who have notifications on, you're going to be able to get this slip. I'm going with the Houston Roughnecks QB on his over 187.5 passing yards, and I'm going to be correlating him with the only receiver that's here, Justin Hall, on the over 52.5 passing yards. If you guys were here during NFL, it's the exact same concept. as taking Kelsey with Mahomes or any other QB with a tight end receiver. You guys get the point. This is very simple. I don't think I have to explain too much. If Justin Hall is going over his 52.5 receiving yards, he has to be getting receiving yards from the QB. Meaning if this actually is cashing 52.5, that means 52.5 of his passing yards are going to be filled up too. And then Reed would only have to throw like 130 yards to some other players on the team. Or maybe just throws a cool 100 to Justin Hall, and then he only has about 90 other yards to throw to the other team. Receiving yards could pretty much not go up unless the QB's passing yards are going up. So very, very direct correlation there. And the reason I'm going with the overs rather than the unders is I'm always comparing to sportsbooks. So in this case, UFL is very niche. No sportsbooks have these markets. But on Underdog, which is Prizepicks' main competitor, you're going to see they have Reed set at 191.5 passing yards. On Prizepicks, we're getting about 187.5. So we're getting at least 4 passing yards in value compared to Underdog. Justin Hall is set at 52.5 on both Prizepicks and Underdog, so it doesn't really matter there. But since we're going over on Reed, we have to be going over on Justin Hall. You wouldn't want to do the opposite. That makes no sense. So this right here is a UFL stack, football right there. And then we're going to go over to Valorant and grab another stack. So on Valorant, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to know too much here. We're going to go over to this guy, Asuna, and grab his under 48.5 map 1 kills. The way Valorant works is it's a round-based game. So if there is a lot of rounds, there is more opportunity for kills. If there's not a lot of rounds, there's not a lot of opportunity for kills. So under 40.5 map 1 3 kills. So if you're taking the under on one team, you want to be taking the under on the other team. So in this case, he's up against G2 Esports. So we want to go over to someone from that team. And in this case, we're going to go over to Trent and grab his under 45.5 map 1 3 kills. Assuming that these maps are shorter than usual, then they're more likely to go under together rather than over together. And of course, in opposite scenarios, you would want to go over, under. So that's kind of how correlation works in Valorant. Now, the reason I take these players is, once again, for Valorant, CS2, and UFL, like these kind of niche sports, you want to compare these lines to underdogs. So Asuna is 48.5 on Prizepicks. On Underdog, he's set at 47.5. So at least I'm getting a kill of value. I feel a bit comfortable compared to Underdog. Now, Trent is the exact same concept. He's set at 43.5. So we're actually getting 2 full kills of value on Prizepicks. Of course, we want to be on the unders in this specific case. So this is going to be another 4 power for you guys, fully correlated. Let's see if this one cashes. Now we're going to get into one last one. I want to go back to UFL, and I'm going to be grabbing the over on both these players here. So exact same correlation effect I'm going with. Now on Underdog, these guys have the exact same line. So realistically, you could go with the under or more. I'm going to go with more on both of them. It doesn't really matter. You're just hoping that they go within the same direction. It's hard to gauge whether the over or under is correct, but I'm going to go with more in this case. You could make another slip with less if that's what you want, but we're going to go for more, and then go over to NBA to get this last stack. This is another stack I used in a previous video. Anthony Edwards on his under 5.5 assists, as well as Rudy Gobert on his under 11.5 points. I know I joked about Gobert at the beginning of the video, but this is a beautiful stack because if you go over to the NBA scoring charts here and check Rudy Gobert, a lot of his points are going to be assisted, about 68.5%. Now, it's not as good as MPJ and KCP, but it's still good enough to kind of get that correlation effect. I'll show you the juice on both these players because that's very important. Anthony Edwards does have juice on his under 5.5 assists at -123. So -123 on the under, -108 on the over. Again, if we go and kind of calculate what this even means, -123 here and -108, there's about a 51.5% chance that he goes under his 5.5 assists, which is his over, which has a 48.49% chance. So no matter what, if you're taking Anthony Edwards assists, you want to be on his under tonight. Now for Rudy Gobert, this is very important because this is actually pretty heavy juice towards the under. There's a plus line here. So plus means unlikely. The higher the plus, the more unlikely it is to happen. The higher the minus, the more likely it is to happen. So -141 and 107, if we're going to plug this in now, -141 and 107, there's about a 54.77% chance that Rudy Gobert goes under tonight. And we're only amplifying it by taking Anthony Edwards on his under 5.5 assists. This is another great 4 power to go with. So here are the 3 slips. Good luck, everyone.